Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. On my last video I said I was going to go back over the motor on this car here, give you a little bit more understanding of it. But I do want to point out one thing, that if anybody's got any ideas, I looked at some of the Holley lower alternator mounting kits, and I looked at some of theirs, but it just didn't, it wasn't able to work. The only reason is because back behind here, if you can see this bracket right here, I made this bracket, and this bracket is bolted on to this bolt here, right there, where my finger's at. I don't know if you can see it anyway, but it is broke. If you're familiar with the LS's, they have another bolt hole that's over here. Well, I couldn't get it to, the other brackets I can't get to mount up because of that broken hole right here in the block. The only way to do it is to replace the block. Didn't do it. So I made this bracket where it mounts here, comes over, mounts over to this other one right here. That nut down there. Right in there. So that's the way I done it on this one. I don't know. I didn't see any more kits that mount anywhere else for the lower mountings. I don't know. Not too familiar with everything, so just doing my best with it I can. I do have it, another bracket down there. It's mounted to the bottom of it. But that's the other thing I wanted to point out on this. It's 13-to-1 Wiseco pistons in it. Stock crank, stock rods, stock bore. Ported heads. 630 lift cam. And of course, all your Holley. The injectors, I believe, are 52-pound injectors in it. And I do want to change this ugly thing here eventually. That goes to my thermos, or the temperature gauge. Had to drill that out. A friend of mine helped me. Shout out to Derek. This is the bypass for the heaters. If you got a heater, I don't have a heater on the car. I want to get rid of this ugly thing, big time. But that's going to be electric, so got to have the funds for that, right? All right. So, and I believe this is a 102 millimeter. So, turn the light off here, so I'm blind everybody. But anyway, that's about it. And then I know you guys seen the thumbnail of my other car. So this is how long this blue truck here was with my other 72 Camaro. And you can tell how long I drove that for 25 years, because there's the truck again with this car. And that's how long I drove that truck. And my son has it now. But anyway, this is getting it. This one tore down, painted up. That's a 355. I did have the 355 Chevy in here, small block Chevy in here. It had 12.5-to-1s. The cam specs was 300 duration, 560 lift in it. It had Edelbrock Victor intake, 650 double pumper Holley, 202 double hump heads. And I sold all that and bought this motor. And that's what I did with that one. Another one, a guy shouted out to me, and I know, Jeff, you're watching, and Jeff said, well, you know your first comment's going to be, does it run? So, first comment yesterday, Jake W. That thing run? And that's what he sent me. So Jeff, you were right. So I went ahead and plugged. I was doing the bar here because this one's not welded in yet. And what happened was I had a 2-inch bar in here. And if you know, 2-inch is a little bit too big. It's an 1 3/4 bar. So it was just a bar I had laying around, and I was like, well, let me go ahead and get that out. Let me just use that for right now. So, and that's what I did. But anyway, gotta move all that wiring out of the way. Well, the other bar was up here, right up in here. So I took it back apart to have this bar lowered down on the roll bar, so I can get in, or the passenger can get in and out easily. So that's what I was doing over here. But then again, it's hitting real bad on this seat here, and I didn't know whether it's rubbing real bad. So like I said, I wanted to change it out to another seat, like the Kirkley over here. But anyway, yeah. And then back to the car. 2-speed power glide in it. I have my trans brake button here. This back here is line lock. Back here, like I said, 2-speed power glide. That's a Hurst shifter. It is set up to shift. It's an automatic shift to shift at 7,000 RPM. Right here. So, and that's all set up. It's got a chip. I don't know if you can see it, but it's back there on the back seat, mounted on the back passenger seat. I don't know if I can get underneath there real quick. Set my light up. I do have a transmission cooler in the back. That is a 4-link. Have adjustable shocks back here. That is a 8.2 Chevy rear end. I'll see if I can't take one of these off, and I'll show you guys these things here. If you guys ever run these, I'm not saying anybody would, but I did, and I learned the hard way on these. So if you ever run these, on the back side, see how these little dimples, these things unscrew. So when this thing's running, it vibrates. So what happened is these slowly turned out. And then I got to where I was going, and I lost, I think, 8 of them. All 8 did back out on me. So what I did is I shot it with some red Loctite and screwed them back in. So if you ever run these things, that's what to do with these. And I had to learn the hard way. But anyway, like I said, Jeff, you're right. So let me get in here and I'll fire it up and do the walk around. All right, in the car. Click everything on for you guys. Terminator X. there it is. And if you guys can see the change in the ride height on this, it's down low. I want to raise the back. See if you use the back, probably about another inch. And it's got a 4-link on here, so just change it on the shocks. Just unbolt where the shocks mount to the 4-link and put it up 1 notch, and it'll raise it about an inch. But I think the low look is awesome. Don't get me wrong. I can lower it down to where the rock, but out on these roads here, I'll drag the exhaust and everything else. So, but anyway, yeah. And then the front end is up higher. So what I did is, I'll show you, is I had these springs over here. I had those springs on it there, and it made the front end set lower down. But I put different springs on. I put factory shock or springs back in it. Boosted up a little bit higher in the front. The front was sitting so low I couldn't even get a jack. I couldn't get a jack underneath there, and I didn't like that. So that's what I did. So like I said, I'll keep going around on the car. I got a lot of things to do. This is during the winter time, and here, and this is shutdown time for like when you tear something up and it's time to fix it. But I didn't tear anything up. I just want to improve everything on the car, and I got a list over here that I want to get done, and so there's my list, and I want to get that going on this, and that's what the whole channel's about, is getting these parts onto this car. So appreciate it. Thanks.